Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. There are a few pieces of interesting news today that I wanted to show you about Ripple and XRP and the crypto market in general. But first, I wanted to get a couple of things out of the way. Then I've got a really important piece of information that I want to give you. The first is, this is just a cultural thing that I want to show you is going on. The United States is going to be last to the party. They're already installing ATMs in Japan now to let you exchange XRP for cash. And these are those ATMs. Before this is all over, you'll be able to do that with all over the world. But I just wanted to show you that because the wave is coming. Next, now, a lot of people have refused to cover this, and I agree with them. This is one article that by the ICO journal. Okay, the only reason I am showing you this article, the reason a lot of people are not wanting to show you this article is because they reference sources, but they don't give any names. They don't say where they came from. They just create an article and then they tell you that they've got sources at NASDAQ and at Ripple. Well, that's not good enough. And so the reason I'm showing you this article is I'm calling out the ICO journal. You need to give us more than that. If you want to call yourself an ICO journal, you need to if you're going to give us sources, to give us something, because this to a lot of people, this looks like you've just created an article just to get some press out of thin air. But here's the but to this, and the name of this article is Exclusive NASDAQ and Ripple. Executives at Ripple find match made in heaven in NASDAQ exchange initiative. And basically, they're saying that NASDAQ, when they start their crypto exchange, is planning on having XRP listed, It's even got a quote here. This is from someone at NASDAQ. We aren't interested in the noise. We are interested in scale. If we start this initiative with top 5 or 7 coins by market capitalization, why would we exclude XRP? There's no good reason to exclude them, at least the way that we are evaluating our work. Look at it this way. There is just as much noise around Bitcoin Cash as there ever has or ever will be around Ripple's cryptocurrency, and Bitcoin Cash is listed almost ubiquitously across all exchanges. So we see no reason to exclude XRP. Instead, we've leaned in and embraced what they will bring to the table. You really can't argue that the firm has a top-notch executive team and is buttoned up as you will find in crypto. Now, here's the main reason I wanted to show you this. It's a great article if it's true, no question about it. But I don't believe that there's going to be, I believe in the end, there's not going to be any exchange that doesn't have XRP. And I'll go a step further. There's not going to be any exchange that's not using XRP with the movement of funds between their exchange and other places for one reason and one reason only. XRP, as I've told you many times, is the greatest digital asset ever created in the history of mankind, because it's faster, more scalable, and all the things I've always told you. XRP, but most importantly, it's faster than all the others. And for that reason, you will be able to move money faster than anything else. And when they move the money, they're going to want to move it fast as possible. Why wouldn't you? So why wouldn't you use XRP for that function with your exchange? And so I'm done with that. The next thing I want to show you, though, and now it's about to get interesting. I'm about to show you some things that should blow your socks off. This is a tweet that came out from Bakkt today, which is Bakkt, as I've told you many times. Bakkt is the New York Stock Exchange's parent company. ICE is creating Bakkt. That's going to be the New York Stock Exchange's crypto exchange. This exchange comes out, they've said it's coming out in November. This exchange will legitimize the entire crypto industry. And the second this exchange opens up, we will never look back. This is their tweet. It says the foundation that we are building our solutions for buying, selling, storing, and spending digital assets is built upon the time-tested, regulated futures markets that have advanced markets ranging from coffee to gold for hundreds of years. And what they're saying to you in that tweet is they're saying that this is another asset class, like I've been telling you. They're saying this is another asset class, and this is no different than trading gold or coffee, which are commodities, or any other thing that has been sold in the markets of the world for the last 100 years. This is a new asset class, and as I've shown you in prior videos, the smallest amount of money in any of the existing asset classes, of which there are, I believe, 5, the smallest amount of money that's in any of them is about between $7 and $10 trillion last time I counted. There's $200 billion in digital assets right now, 216 or so as of today. So let your mind wander on what that means for your investments once those trillions come in. Okay, now here's the real big piece of news that I wanted to show you. I was on Twitter today, and I received this, and I'm going to give credit to this guy, John Brooks, on Twitter, at John Dylan Brooks. So he's an XRP guy. I've seen a few of his tweets, and so if you want to follow a guy that's involved in this space, there's many of them that send out good pieces of news. Well, he sent me this one, so he's probably worthy of following. He says, digital asset buy. Hey, man, I love all your content, but haven't you seen the mention of Susan Athey's Ripple board director's fundamental valuation of XRP? And the answer is that I had not seen it. And I want to thank him for sending me this. But first, I want to tell you a story about Susan Athey. This is from Ripple's website. Susan Athey is on the Ripple board, okay? She is, I wanted to tell you briefly who she is. She's a professor of economics at Stanford Graduate School of Business. She received her bachelor's degree from Duke University and her PhD from Stanford. She also holds a doctorate honorary doctorate from Duke University. Anyway, she's a professor at one of the greatest business graduate schools in the world at Stanford. And so this is no dumb cookie. But I wanted to tell you a story before I get to what this is about Susan Athey. My son was on a baseball team with a family, and we were sitting at the end of year party. It was a pool party where I live. And I was sitting there and I was talking to a guy. This was a guy that I knew. He worked at Bear Stearns. I believe it was Bear Stearns when the 2008 financial crisis happened. He was at Bear Stearns. And so I've talked to him a few times about what that was like. And so I asked him while we were at the pool party, I said, you don't happen to know anything about digital assets? And so he started talking about them and started talking about how he had owned some and this and that. Well, his last name is the same as Susan Athey's last name. Subject of Ripple comes up. Come to find out, this guy is Susan Athey's cousin. So you're talking about a small world. That is what I call a small world. And so Susan Athey, I'm sure you don't listen to the Digital Asset Investor, but if you do, I'm talking about you right now, and I know your cousin, and you know who I'm talking about. So anyway, moving along. So Susan Athey, who is on Ripple's board, puts out, this guy told me that on XRP chat that they had posted this. So I want to give proper credit to everybody involved here. So this guy, a veteran member, Punishment of Luxury is his name. He's got a funny picture here. He posted this fundamental valuation. And what it is this is an actual, there's a link to it on there. This is an actual academic paper that has been done by Susan Athey and Robert Mitchnick, and they did it in June of this year. And this is, I mean, you've heard all of us YouTubers and different people on Twitter. You've heard everybody pontificate about what they think the price of what they think XRP will go to and all of this. Well, this is an actual academic valuation done by, I mean, these are the people that the world listens to when it comes to anything having to do with finances and all. I mean, Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley, they hire people like this as consultants and pay them the big bucks. And so, without further ado, I don't want you to any longer take my word for it. I've got an academic paper that reinforces pretty much everything that I have been telling you for the last 8 or 10 months. I now have an academic paper to prove it, and it's someone who's a PhD and is a professor at Stanford Graduate School. And so, let's go to page 22 and look at the conclusion. Now, I'm not going to read all this stuff to you, but look, I mean, it's pretty in-depth, and many of you this may be your bag to read things like this. I'm more of a big picture guy and an overall market guy. And so I'm going to read you this line here. It says, "We have demonstrated the practical application of the model on 2 leading crypto assets, BTC and XRP, and arrived at a fundamental value range today for BTC of $13,600 to $28,100, and for XRP $1.59 to $8.23 as of today." And that they wrote this in June of this year. And if Ripple is their value model says $1.59 to $8.23 in June, just imagine what it should be worth today as we head into Bakkt opening their exchange, XRapid going live. The closer we get, it has to be going up. But I encourage you all to go, you can read this, go to XRP chat and find where this guy posted this, or the guy that I was telling you about on Twitter, and you can find these. But we're in amazing times. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. If you would, please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. We are living through some of the most interesting times, at least the most interesting in my lifetime. Thank you for listening.